Hey everyone, RogueGold here. Welcome back to the Division 2. And today, stretch goals have returned. If you've not participated in one of these events before, it is basically an end of season farming bonanza where you have the chance to get rare items like the Lexington, the Turmoil, also exotics like the Eagle Bearer, the Regulus, all of that on top of a batch of new cosmetic rewards for those of us who already have all of those items. So in this video, I will provide a quick recap of how the system and event works, but I also want to dive into some of the changes that the devs have made to this system compared to last time around. Last season's stretch goals drew a lot of criticism due to low drop rates, so they have made some improvements, and I'm curious to see the community's reaction. So let's just get straight to it. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more from me on the Division 2 moving forward, then be sure to subscribe. As always, have to give a major thank you to our channel members. It's your continuous support that keeps me going, making videos like these, so thank you so much for that. But without further ado, let's go. Okay, so to begin, as always, if you want to check on the status of the event, how long it has remaining, you can come right here to the event's timeline, and you'll see that stretch goals this season named Rank Up is listed right here. Important to note, compared to the last two runs that we've had of this is only lasting for 2 weeks, as you can see right here on screen, so you only have until December 2nd to farm this. But how do we actually access the event? Well, you want to tab back here to the season pass, and you'll see that once you pass rank 100, you now have these looping rewards from 101 all the way to 110. So to reiterate, you need to be at rank 100 on the season pass to begin participating within stretch goals. These are entirely free, however, you do not need to own the premium pass. And then, as we just mentioned, these are looping tiers, right? Once you get all the way through to 110 here, it'll reset you right back, and you can go through it again and claim everything. And it is that infinite loop that makes up the basis of stretch goals. So what are we actually looking for during this event? Well, the important rewards here are at tiers 102, 4, 6, and 8. These are your rank up caches. These are the primary ways of getting the new stuff and the important stuff from stretch goals. The devs provided us with a handy article including drop rates, so I will flash some of those on screen as we talk here. Each rank up cache that you open is going to give you guaranteed items from this season's pool of new additions, so the Urban Lookout brand set, the Tipping Scales gear set. Just note that getting those does not hinder your chances at getting those other rare items because those are guaranteed each and every time. On top of those though, you then have certain percentages to get the more rare drops. That includes, per rank up cache, you have a 50% chance to get one of the new vanity items. That includes 8 total pieces of the Tom Sargent outfit. There are 4 arm patches and then 2 weapon skins. Each rank up cache has a 10% chance to net you one of the quote rare named items. This includes ones like the Lexington, which you'll see has a boosted rate compared to the others. But then also the Turmoil, Caretaker, the Hunter items like the Huntsman. There's a lot of ones on this list. And then finally, each rank up cache nets you a 0.5% chance to get one of the game's exclusive exotics. And this includes all of the Raid, Incursion, Legendary, and Climax content exotics. So again, per loop that you farm here, you're going to get 4 of those caches in total at 102, 104, 106, and 108. One of the first big changes they have made this time around though is that at 110, you get a special prestige rank up cache. So how does this differ compared to the usual ones? Well, essentially, it narrows down the loot pool on those items that you're likely going to want the most, and then it also boosts their drop rates. So, compared to the standard caches, each prestige cache has a 100% chance to contain one of the new vanity items. It also has a 100% chance to contain one of those rare named items. Also, you'll see that it has a much more slimmed down loot pool compared to the other ones. So you have a much better chance at getting those items like the Lexington, the Turmoil, all of those. And then finally, while it still seems small, you have a 2.5% chance to get one of those exclusive exotics. So, yeah, still very rare, but considerably higher than its rank up counterpart. Alright, so speaking in terms of progression, because this is tied to the season pass, the way to rank up stretch goals is to get season pass XP, not regular XP. If you look at the reward breakdown on the left side there, you will see that the white number is your regular shade XP, whereas the orange number is your season pass XP. As always, there are 2 ways to multiply your gains of season pass XP. The first is owning the premium season pass. So if you do that, you'll have a 10% boost compared to the normal yield. And then the other way is by playing with your seasonal modifier enabled. If you do that, once again, you will get an additional 10% yield. because we are dealing with Season Pass XP, there are a few different methods that are always worth checking first before you get onto some of the more grindable sources of this. The first one of those is that if you have any of your journey objectives left to claim or complete, that is a great source of XP. You'll see for me, I only recently finished Journeys 3 and 7 before moving on to the final one, and each of those, when I claim them, is going to give me 5,200 Season Pass XP, so be sure to check that. The other source are then your Manhunt Scouts. I know a lot of you save these up for stretch goals specifically, so if you have any of your Scouts remaining to do, each one gives you a large chunk of XP, but assuming you have those complete, how do we find more farmable sources of this XP type? The first is going to be your weekly projects. Now, you're only going to get a chance to do 2 of these before the event expires, right? Because they reset today and then next Tuesday. But you'll see that if I complete the weekly summit project, if I turn in my materials for requisition, all of these things are going to give me a decent chunk of Season Pass XP. And then, as always, priority objectives are going to be one of your most farmable and repeatable sources of this. You'll see that each activity type I choose lists out how long it's expected to take, but then right next to that, it shows you how much Season Pass XP you will get for completing it. So be sure to pick these, re-roll, and re-up as you play. The final thing to note is that aside from all of those sources, just about any content in the game will still give you some amount of this XP. So whether it's me looking at a control point up here, that will give me some. If I go toggle to do a main mission, and I set this to that, you'll see it still gives me some. Now, there are, of course, certain pieces of content that tend to be more lucrative than others. One of those the players have discovered is Conflict. This gives you a really good amount of Season Pass XP. But then additionally, I know last time around, a lot of people found that District Union Arena was one of the best, time efficiency ways to go and farm this. Set it to heroic, speed run it, you're going to get a lot. But whatever you choose to play, just be sure that whenever possible, you're syncing up that progression with a priority objective that will also award you for completing it, so that you're getting the highest possible values as you go. The final thing to mention, and one of the other big changes that the devs made this season to stretch goals, is that this system is now eligible to receive the benefit from Season Pass XP events. So, concurrently to when stretch goals began today, there is currently a 2 times Season Pass XP event. It does cap off at 100 total levels of progression, as you can see at the bottom, so keep that in mind. But what this means is that farming during this first week of the event is actually going to be much more beneficial than the second week, because, you're essentially progressing 2 times as fast. So, once again, these did not used to count for stretch goals or beyond rank 100 progression. That is no longer the case, so be sure to take as much advantage from this as you can. Alright, I just wanted to do a final quick live opening with you all, see what we get from some of these caches. And because I save these journey missions up, and because it is a 2 times event, you'll see that each claim is going to get me close to 5,300. That's a lot. So let's claim Journey 3. We'll also claim number 7 down here. And we will finish out our journey at number 8. We should now see that, just from those 3 alone, I'm already at rank 117. So that was quite good. And let's start claiming some of these caches. Alright, so just those journey completions alone has netted me 7 rank up caches, as well as 1 of the prestige caches. So let's crack these open and see if I get anything good. Alright, we got our first piece of the outfit, 1 of the arm patches. That's pretty cool. We got the kill count weapon skin, another piece of the outfit. Alright, moment of truth. This is 1 of the new prestige caches. Is it going to give us something good? Let's find out. We got our normal drops, and then we got the handbasket. So once again, items within the rare named item pool have a 100% chance to drop from these prestige caches, right? You get a guaranteed 1 every 10 levels. I got maybe arguably the worst one in that batch, but they're here. And so that should be everything you need to know. Well, there you have it, everybody. That is a quick look and guide at Year 7 Season 2's stretch goals, including a look at some of the new changes from the team. At this point, after seeing everything we went through, I would love to know some of your thoughts on this event, specifically the changes made from playing so far. Do you feel as though this has made things more fair? But as always, if you have any questions regarding the event, how it works, whatever, feel free to ask below, and I will do my very best to clear that up. My parting message here is get to farming. This event is here for 2 weeks only, and this first week specifically is double the benefit with that 2 times XP event. So get in there, and best of luck. That's going to do it for me today, though. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you back soon. RogueGold.